Hi, welcome back to day 49 of online learning. Today we're going over Unit 8, Lesson 2.5, and what we're focusing on is how to solve multi-step word problems. So that means that there's different steps that you have to take in order to solve the equation, and you could be either using addition and subtraction or multiplication, division. You could be using all four of those operations in different operations. So I'm going to pull up our lesson goals and objectives and our standards for today's video. For today's video, you should be able to say, I will be able to solve multi-step problems involving more than one operation. So that includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, and or division. And then below says the standards for today's video. What I want us to do is I'm going to pull up number 1 from your have-to for today, and I want you to take notes of the rules of the problem. So I'm going to pull it up now and read it. Number 1 says there are 4 third grade classes with different numbers of students in each class, 22, 23, 25, and 26. The teachers put all the classes together and made 6 equal groups. How many students are in each group? So what I want you to do is take notes of this problem in this format. So number of groups, number in each group, and the total number. That way you're able to see what do you already know and what are you trying to figure out in this problem. So it says there are 4 different third grade classes with different numbers in each class, 22, 23, 25, and 26. What I want us to do is I'm thinking about all of those numbers, and that makes me think, what do those numbers represent? If I added all those numbers up together, what do they represent? All those numbers are the total number of students in third grade. So my total number would be 22 plus 23 plus 25 plus 26. All of those together would be my total number of third graders. Then it asks us, the teachers put all the classes together and made 6 equal groups. So when I read that, I'm going to figure out if I find the total number, so all of these added together, and I split them up into 6 equal groups. The question is, how many students are in each group? So what I'm trying to figure out is how many students are in each group. So pause me and think about, what do I need to do first in order to solve this equation? In order to solve this problem, I need to first add all of my third grade classes together to get my total number. So I'd be adding 22 plus 23 plus 25 plus 26. So what I want you to do now is remember how we used to break apart in our last unit addition problems with multiple add-ins. We'd first find the answer to 2 of them and then keep adding those to our other add-ins, the other numbers that we're adding together. So pause me and solve this by yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first solve 22 plus 23 and then do 25 plus 26. So 22 plus 23. I can break apart these numbers into tens and ones. Break it down into place value. So this would be 20 plus 20, which is equal to 40. And then 2 plus 3 in my ones place, which is equal to 5. So my equation would be 40 plus 5, which is equal to 45. So here I have 45 plus, and now I want to figure out what 25 plus 26 equals. And it's okay if you did this in a different way. Maybe you added something, if you added 22 and 25 together, as long as you're making sure to be breaking it down into add-ins. It doesn't matter the order in addition. So now I'm going to do 25 plus 26. So if I was to break this down into tens and ones, just like I did over here, it'd be 20 plus 20, which is equal to 40. And then my ones place would be 5 plus 6, which is equal to 11. So my final equation would be 40 plus 11. And I need to pay attention that there's also a tens place in 11. So 40 plus 11, or 4 tens plus 1 10, would be 5 tens with 1 1. So it'd be 45 plus 51. So I added up all 4 of these numbers. What do I need to do now to make sure that I get the correct total? What I need to do now is I need to add the 2 numbers that I got from these solutions, 45 plus 51. So 45 plus 51. I'm going to again break it down into tens and 1. So it'd be 40 plus 50. 40 plus 50, or 4 tens plus 5 tens, is equal to 90. And then 5 ones plus 1 1. So 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6. So I'm adding that up. So 90 plus 6 is equal to 96. Pause me and think about, what does 96 represent now? What does 96 mean? This 96 means if I added all of those 3rd grade classes together, that's the amount of students that I have in all of 3rd grade. So my total number is 96 students. I added up all 4 3rd grade classes to figure out how much do I have in all of 3rd grade. Pause me and think about, what do I need to do next? I'm not done because it's asking me how many are in each group. I needed to first find the total number of students in 3rd grade before I could figure out how many I can put in each group when there's 6 groups. So pause me and think about, what do I need to do next? What I need to do next is think about, if I have 96 students, how can I break them up equally into 6 different groups? Pause me and think about an equation that I can use to represent this. So 96 students put into 6 groups. So I know that 96 is my total number, and I remember if my total number is already shown, what I can do is I know that it's going to be a division problem since I'm working a little backwards. So it'd be 96 divided by 6 equals the number in each group. What I want you to do now is pause me and take some time to try to find the answer to this yourself. It's a large number, so 96 divided by 6 is a big number. I'm going to have more than 1 digit. I don't want you to be dealing it out by each single student. What I want you to do is think about groups that I can use to deal out. That way it's easier for me to solve. Instead of doing 1 by 1 by 1, think, can I deal out by 5s? Can I deal out by 10s? Can I deal out by 2s? Numbers that are easy for me to break down and solve. Pause me now and try to solve this by yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about how many groups do I have? So I know I have 6 groups, and it's going to be dealt out evenly because it said they broke it down into equal groups. So I have 6 groups. What I want you to think about, if I know 96 divided by 6 equals how many are in each group, I know that 6 times what equals 96. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of something that I can multiply with 6 that is still less than 96. So what I know is that 6 times 10 is 60. So I know that I can break down and put 10 in each group before I go over my total number, because my total number of 96 is the max I'm going to have. So what I'm going to first do is 6 times 10, which I know will equal 60. So I'm going to put 10 in each group. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now I'm going to think, and I know that I can't put another group of 10 in here because that would do 6 times 10 again would equal 120 students, but all I have is 96. So pause me and think about, I need to get from 60 to 96. Is there something else that I can multiply 6 times that's going to be less than that? I know that 6 times 5 is equal to 30, and 60 plus 30 is equal to 90. So I know that I can now count by 5s and still not get over 96. So now I'm going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So all together right now I have 90 students shown, but I need to get to 96 students. If I have 90 students shown and I need to get to 96, that means that I need to deal out 1 in each group since there's 6 equal groups. So what I'm at right now is 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. So I did 6 times 10 plus 6 times 5, and then I did plus 6 times 1, because then I put 1 in 6 groups. So if I did 6 times 10 plus 6 times 5 plus 6 times 1, that means equation I would have for adding would be 60 plus 30 plus 6, which is equal to 96. So I made sure I have the same total number as I do down here. So all I did is I broke down 96 divided by 6 into equations that I knew that I can solve really easily instead of doing 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. That's how you lose track of things. I just broke it down into equations that are easier for me to solve. So now let's see how much I have in each group. I have 10 plus 5 plus 1, so I have 16. Pause me and think about, what does that 16 represent in this story problem? Sixteen represents 16 students in each group. What I'd like for you to do now is, for your have-to today, it's pages 507 to 508. And I already went over number 1 together. And these are multi-step story problems, so it's going to be multiple things that you need to take in order to find the correct answer. Just how I had to first find the total before I broke it up into groups, you're going to have to do the same sort of idea in your problems that you're doing by yourself. Please make sure you are taking your time and showing your work on this, because if you're not showing your work, I'm not able to figure out how you got your answer. So I'm going to pull up pages 507 to 508 right now. Here's your have-to for today. It's pages 507 to 508, and it's solving multi-step problems. So the directions are to solve the problems and show your solutions. So we already went over number 1 together during the lesson. So you need to solve numbers 2 through 5 by yourself, and what you need to do is making sure that you are taking notes of the rules of the problem and also solving for each step of the problem. Make sure you're correctly answering what the question asks, because there's going to be more than one step in order to find the correct answer for all these problems. So make sure you're showing your work. That way I'm able to see how you got your answer and help if there's any confusion. Now let's take a look at your have-to slide for today. For today, you need to complete pages 507 to 508, solving multi-step problems, and show your work. Then you need to practice your facts on working on division flashcards for 10 minutes, and then do 15 minutes of IXL only on the highlighted skills. And your success criteria for today is that I can solve story problems with more than one step, and I can do this by making sure to closely read the question and take notes of the rules of the problem. And in order to get a 3, you need to be able to say I worked on all the problems on pages 507 to 508, showed my work, practiced my basic facts, and did 15 minutes of IXL.